Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Sodanandana Braja Janardana Yasodanandana Braja Janardana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopalkrishna Goswami Tamani Prabhupada Sasachandra Prabhashami Tiracha Charangrivanshadu Gatpati Namo Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyanam Gyana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं साद्वधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदं सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Chapter 10, the opulence of the Absolute. This is the last sloka, Chapter 10, text 42. Atha bahunaitena atha bahunaitena kim jñātena tavārjuna kim jñātena tavārjuna viṣṭabhyāham idam kṛtsnam viṣṭabhyāham idam kṛtsnam ekāṁśena sthito jagat ekāṁśena sthito jagat tava bahunaitena kim jñātena tavārjuna viṣṭabhyāham idam kṛtsnam ekāṁśena sthito jagat bahunaitena kim jñātena tavārjuna viṣṭabhyāham idam kṛtsnam ekāṁśena sthito jagat bahunaitena jñātena tavārjuna viṣṭabhyāham idam kṛtsnam aṁśena sthito jagat tava bahunaitena jñātena tavārjuna viṣṭabhyāham idam kṛtsnam. Mataji's, Hare Krishna. Word for word meaning. Atha, tava, or bahunā, many. Etena, by this kind. Kim, what? Jñātena, by knowing. Tava, your. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Viṣṭabhya, pervading. Aham, I. Idam, this. Kṛtsnam, anti. Eka, by one. Aṁśena, part. Sthitaḥ, am situated. Jagat, universe. Translation. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Everybody please repeat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this universe. Entire universe, yes. Purport. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by His entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, and down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all of its sustaining them. There is a mission that regularly profounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the Supreme Goal. But worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein, because even the greatest demigods, like Brahma and Shiva, represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than Him. He is asamardva, which means that no one is superior to Him, and that no one is equal to Him. In the Padma Purana, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord in the supreme category with demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Sri Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all-pervading by the expansion of his partial representation, the Supersoul, who enters into everything that is. Pure devotees, therefore, concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11. That is the way of pure devotional service. How one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baladev Vidyabhusan, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, Yat Shakti Lesat Suryadya Bhavanti Ati Ugra Tejasa Yat aṁśena Dhritam Vishvam Sakrishno Dasami Urtyate. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the opulence of the Absolute. Tava bahunaitena kim jñātena tavārjuna viṣṭabhyāham idam kṛtsnam ekāṁśena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So the chapter ends here. The opulence of the Absolute, chapter 10 of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And here, specifically, the verse describes the power, the supreme power that pervades the entire universe in each and every nook and corner of the universe, none other than the Supersoul. The Supersoul is the localized aspect of the Supreme Lord, as it is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Badanti tattva idastagyanam brahmeti parameti bhagavan iti sabjate. The Supreme Absolute Truth has three aspects, namely Brahman, or the light, effulgence, Brahma Jyoti, coming from the Supreme Lord's transcendental form. And this is the focus or the goal, especially of the ones who wants to merge into the body in that light. Yes. Cannot merge into the body. It's not possible. As Prabhupada says, we're all individuals. We cannot be together. We cannot be one. So it's not possible to be one with the Supreme Lord, but one can merge into His effulgence, the light coming from the Supreme Lord. And the next aspect of the Supreme Lord is the Paramatma, explains here, who maintains the whole entire universe, both moving and non-moving living entities. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadati kaman. Among the plural living entities, there is one singular living entity who maintains everyone, who provides everything, the necessities of everyone, according to their karma, according to the actions that they perform previously or even in this lifetime. He is present in everyone's heart, and He's present everywhere. Of course, we don't see Him, but we can feel Him and we can realize Him. Everywhere, even within an atom, there is the Paramatma, or the Supersoul. And the size of the Supersoul is like this. From this end to that end, about 1 inch. But again, He is smaller than the smallest. And He is bigger than the biggest. He is the greatest. And within one's heart, the Paramatma, or the Supersoul, also resides, along with the Jiva Atma, or the Atman, or the soul. There is a description in the Shastra, it's like in a tree. The tree is compared to the body, and there are 2 birds. One bird is observing. He is the permitter and he is the controller, but mostly he is observing. And the other one is the Atma, who can have his own minute independence. He may choose to follow what the Paramatma dictates, or he may choose not to follow. That what makes Krishna perfect as God. He's given us a choice, a minute independence to do what we wish to do. But if we misuse that independence, minute independence, then we are culpable. We are responsible for the reaction. So the Supersoul, he travels along with the Atma through different species of life, whether lower species of life or even up to Swargaloka, the heavenly planets, to convince the Jiva Atma to go back home, back to Godhead. But if the Jiva Atma doesn't want to go back home, back to Godhead, okay, Paramatma will say, okay, do as you like, as you like. It's like you go to Loy Bazaar. If you want something, and you say, oh, this is too expensive. Okay, as you like. Whatever you like. For you, I don't make profit. They don't say like this. But the Jiva, unknowingly, and most of the times doesn't learn from his mistakes. He continuously defies the instructions coming from the Paramatma, whose main concern is for our own welfare. How perfect Krishna is. Otherwise, if he fully controlled, hey, this is only what you must do and that's it, you don't have any other choice, then there is no such thing called as love. No priti, no love. Because love cannot be command. There is no command that you must love me. It's like, it is inert within everyone's heart, but we have to develop that love. If we are able to surrender and follow the instructions coming from the Paramatma. So the Paramatma is there. He is existing everywhere. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, and down to the smallest ant. We are all existing due to the Lord's mercy and compassionate nature having entered into each and every one of us. And He sustains everyone. Whether an ant or an elephant in the big forest. So that's why here it says, the Lord tells Arjuna, no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. What one should know? One should just know that all things, from Brahma to the smallest ant, are all existing due to Krishna entering in them as Supersoul. How it is all living entities exist. They don't have to work 9 to 5. They don't have to go to job. But they're able to exist. They eat. They survive. It's only in human form of life that we have to work 9 to 5. Of course, the animals, the insects, they have to work also on their own account. But it's not that, when they work, they get paid. They're rewarded by nature. And in other living entities who are in a very, very covered up, conscious-wise, then they suffer more. It's like right now, summer is in the air. How about these trees? Of course, we have gardeners. They put water to them. But what if the gardener is like in the forest, doesn't water them, but nature will water them from time to time? There'll be rain. But there's a lot of sufferings, especially now. Temperature is rising. And very soon it'll be 50 degrees Celsius. Scorching heat. You can cook egg on the street. That heat. So, but unfortunately, they'll be going to be in that way due to karma. It's only in human form of life that we can end this, and we'll be able to realize that there is a super soul. But beyond that, there is the Para-Brahman, Supreme Brahman. That Para-Brahman is none other than Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is a misconception because in the school of thought here in India, there is what you call also demigod worshippers, devata, worshipping the devatas. And they have concluded that by worshipping the demigods, they will come to the conclusion that actually they will also ultimately worship the Supreme Lord. Or it is equal. That worshiping the demigods will lead them to worship the Supreme Lord. Or eventually, because this is a trick of Lord Krishna, but to think that the demigods are none different than the Supreme Lord is a big mistake. This is an offense. To think that Surya Dev or Ganesh or Lakshmi Ji or Kali, Durga as a supreme is a big offense, because they are devatas, they are agents, they are administrators of the universe. That means there is one supreme master who is none other than Lord Krishna. So worship of the demigods is being discouraged. Only those who are in the materialistic platform, that they worship the demigods because they want immediate relief or immediate result. It says here, the great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, represent only a part of opulence of the Supreme Lord. These 33, is it 33 million? 33 million demigods? 33. Maybe, is it increased now or something? No. 33. How exact the Shastra is? Yeah. Yes. 33 million devatas. Not billion. 33 million. You go and do some research. Okay. 33 million. And who is the king of the devatas? King Indra. But then there is still higher than King Indra, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. When Hiranyakashipu usurped the throne of King Indra, everyone is worshiping and everyone is serving Hiranyakashipu, except Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. No, that is not their position. They are guna avatars. They are guna avatars, none different also than the Supreme Lord, but again at the same time, simultaneously one and difference. Lord Brahma in the Jiva Tattva and Lord Shiva in the Shiva Tattva himself, it's a different category, and Lord Vishnu in the Vishnu Tattva. So, yes, they are just partial representative of the Supreme Lord. Lord Vishnu, no one can be greater than Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna, and no one can equal with him. Asamordha, Prabhupada says here in the Purport, he is Asamordha. He is the origin of everyone. Everyone is born from Lord Krishna. And there is, he says here, a reference in the Padma Purana. It says that if one considers Krishna equal to the demigods, then he is called an atheist or a pashandi. Pashandi. Pashandi means an offender. So here in chapter 10, it makes us fix our mind to Lord Krishna by describing different opulences equal, but not really that they are Krishna. The greatest of everything that we can actually realize and see is Krishna. Yeah, it says here, throughout it describes different opulences and expansions of Krishna's energies. So, in this way, we can fix our mind fully unto Krishna. But that doesn't mean that whatever it is described in that greatness of opulence to Krishna is Krishna. Do you understand? It says, of the mountain, I am the Himalayas. Is the Himalayas Krishna? No. It is not. Just to the extent that Himalaya is so high, so great, that he is compared to that, the Himalaya is compared to Krishna. But even though Krishna, or the Himalaya, is not Krishna. We mentioned that last week, right? We summarize all of those different places, or in different places in the Bhagavad Gita, this chapter. And from text, was that text 8 to text 10:8, 10:9, 10:10, and 10:11, the Chatusloki of the Bhagavad Gita, which explains about the nature of Supreme Lord and devotional service. Let me just repeat it briefly. Aham sarvasya prabhabho mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajantimam budha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Madchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantas chamang nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Tesam satatam yuktanam bhajata priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Tesang ibanukam partang aham ajñāna tama nasayami atma babashto jnana dipena vashvata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So, this chapter is a very special chapter. It explains the opulence of the Absolute, how we can understand Him up to a certain degree, and how we can focus our mind about the nature of the Supreme Lord, about His greatness. When in some other religions they say, oh, Krishna or God is great, but they cannot explain how great is God. So by this chapter, we can explain to them, if someone asks, okay, God is great, how God is great. Then you explain these different explanations that we just learned from this chapter. So how we can concentrate our mind in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service is very important. Bhakti. And we just heard that from 10:8 to 10:11, that how devotional service and how we can worship the Supreme Lord. says here that the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Lord is explained, and how to attain it. As Baladev Vidyabhusan also says here, to conclude his commentary, from Lord Krishna's energy, even the powerful sun gets its power. And by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Krishna is worshipable. That's why when we say bhaja, worshipable, demigods we respect. But only bhajan, when we say, we're doing bhajan, worship, it's only meant for Krishna. Glorification, only meant for Krishna. When we say bhajan, it doesn't apply to the demigods. But then when we come to, let's say, a place of worship, when they worship the demigods, we offer our respect as well. We can bow down, just like we bow down to the Vaishnavas, offer our respect. Only the Mayavadis, they say that, when we become realized, then we attain liberation and we also become Narayan. And then they will offer obeisances with each other, just like that of Narayan. So it is an offense to consider. This is one of the offenses while chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or greater than the name of Lord Vishnu. Not many are knowing this. Only the Vaishnavas can understand. But those Devata worshippers, then they will not understand. And they will consider that whatever boon or benediction they may attain from worshipping the specific demigod is coming from the demigod themselves. Like Lord Shiva, he is not so happy that he is being worshipped as a Supreme Lord. He is more happy if they see, or if Lord Shiva sees that the worshippers of him rather to worship Lord Krishna than himself. So only Lord Krishna is worshipable. This is the conclusion of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Any questions? Any comments? We're so fortunate we have come to the conclusion that Krishna is the ultimate worshipable, most worshipable object. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy, who is the most worshipable object? Ramananda Roy didn't say Krishna. He says Radha Krishna. Hey, where's the mic? When we are ignorant, as Krishna being the Supreme Lord, well, if you still worship the demigods, knowingly that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, no. If you're ignorant, you are not as more the reaction. Well, we say we because we were non-devotees before also. Now we're just not even devotee yet. We're still trying to become a devotee. Okay. So, You or me or all of us here, we've been demigod worshippers before. We were atheists before. We are Mayavadis before. We were ants before. We were trees before. Huh? So, but that is ignorance. But now that you have come to this level of understanding that Krishna is a supreme, there is no need for us to worship different demigods. Unless there is a statement in the Nectar of Devotion that one may worship Ganesh to help remove the obstacles and the path of bhakti, in the execution of the path of bhakti. So Prabhupada was asked by the disciples in Chicago if they can worship Ganesh because they've read in the Nectar of Devotion. They said, Prabhupada, it's in your book. He said, there. He says, yes, okay, you can worship Ganesh, but you have to provide me a few kilos of gold every month. That means there's no need, because within your mind, that's why we don't have any, even Sarasvati, who's also an expansion of Srimati Radharani. We don't have Ganesh in our temples. There is one temple in Chandigarh. They donated this temple to ISKCON, and in that temple, along with the temple, there are many, many demigods. So, Panchkula, you should go. It's still there in Panchkula. So, the proprietor says that I will give this to ISKCON, but the demigods should not be taken away. So if you go, there are different demigods. So what to do? You have to offer obeisances to everyone. Yeah, they're still there. And outside there is a Govardhan. So many Govardhan Shilas. They made it like a mountain, a small hill. Have you been there? Anybody been there? Next time you go to Chandigarh, Panchkula is like sister city of Chandigarh. It's called Twin Cities. But the main deity though is Radha and Krishna in Gaur-Nitai. Right there. Any other question? Yes, sir.
Prabhuji, I have a question which is slightly different.
Slightly, that means different. Don't say slight. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hare Krishna. You have what?
We have atma and the body.
Yes, inside.
Yeah. So the characteristics of body and characteristics of atma are
Different.
Completely opposite.
Like oil and water.
Yes.
You cannot mix.
Cannot mix. Now the closest we have closest to our body is atma.
This is a cloth. This is like it's like garment.
It is like closest to our atma is our body, and to our body is atma.
The closest?
Close, very close.
No, it's very far.
It's sitting inside us.
Yeah, the when we say my body, who says my? That is the soul.
Yeah.
The body is not saying my body. No, it's the soul. Okay.
Yeah. So when we have completely opposite characteristics of body and atma,
Yeah.
I always get stuck up with one doubt that is there any sadhana which can make us realize that the characteristic, at least one characteristic of atma, can we realize it?
Yeah, when you practice bhakti yoga, when you practice bhakti yoga, then you'll be able to discern, you'll be able to distinguish that there is a soul. The symptom of the soul is consciousness. Consciousness means where you always like thinking all the time. Okay? Identifying yourself all the time. Right? Most of those who are in the bodily platform, their consciousness is materialistic. Meaning acquiring more money, because they identify that the body is a self, so they want to enjoy. And without money, you cannot enjoy. So their consciousness is always money, money, money. Where is money? Sweeter than honey. Okay, now the consciousness should be, how can I understand Krishna? How can I understand to develop my love for Krishna? And we cannot do that directly, so we do that through the spiritual master or through the devotees, pleasing them, following the instructions coming from sadhus. If our way of thinking is like that the whole day, how can I make advancement? How can I get closer to Krishna? That means you're acting in the soul platform. The more you think that I am the body, that means you're very possessive. I, me, mine, my family, my friends, my loved ones, so-called friends, so-called loved ones. Because our body is temporary, our relationship with our family is also temporary. But in the spiritual platform, we're all one big family. Okay? So that's how you can develop your understanding that I am not this body, that I am spirit soul. What are you always focused throughout the whole day, throughout the whole night? If your focus is Krishna, then favorably, then you are on the spiritual platform, soul platform. Okay? Okay. So we stop here. Anything else? Any more question? Yes, one more question from Prabhu.
Just a slight point to that 33 crores.
Yeah, 33 crores is how many?
It's equal to 330 million.
Oh, okay, 300. I'm not familiar with. I cannot even. 330 million. It's okay, because I cannot figure out what is a billion in rupees. How billion in rupees is how many? 1 crore is what? One. You see, I cannot eat. You see. You can. One crore is 10 million? Okay. 33, yeah, 33. 330 million. 330 million. My mistake. I'm sorry, I'm not good in mathematics, even though that is my favorite subject. Okay, so we stop here. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna.